Wednesday morning, it's McCollum on Business. I'm Stephen McCollum, and for the next 30 minutes or so, I'm going to get you updated on what's happening around the business world this morning. Again, another morning show here, as we've done that all week long, except for Monday. And that's simply because we're getting ready to move studios here, and so we needed some extra time. We will be dark tomorrow on Friday. We'll be back at Monday at 11 o'clock as well. So stay tuned for that. However you're watching us, whether it be live here at 7 a.m., of course, on demand here later in the day or over the weekend. Thank you very much for joining us. Of course, yesterday we left you. We were waiting for NVIDIA to report, and a bunch of other big companies like Salesforce and Oracle's this week and things to that effect. How's that affecting the market here in pre-market trading? Well, let's get into it with that Market Watch. Well, stock futures are little changed here this morning. As we are going into this, the market opens at 7:30 here Phoenix time. For those of you who don't know, this is where we record in Phoenix out there. We see you guys out there and gals that are watching us all over the United States. Right now, the Dow futures are up 152 points, trading at the 49,605. The S&P 500 futures down 7 points right now. I can tell you this is fluctuating all pre-market here. Pre-market trading starts at 4:30 a.m. our time here in Phoenix, 6:30 Eastern. It's been fluctuating back and forth, basically even for that S&P 500. But right now, showing 6.9 points down to 69.56. The Nasdaq out there is up here in their future trading here today as well. Currently currently 15 points up for the Nasdaq. 25,397 with 15 points up there. Then you got the Russell 2K, that small cap index, up 11 points here with their futures, 2671. And then there's Bitcoin. Look at this. Shouldn't be a shocker at this point. Now it's got above the 66,000 that it was at yesterday, but it's in the 67,000 range, upper 67,000 this morning, 67,768 for Bitcoin here this morning. As the cryptocurrencies are a whole nother question mark out there. And of course, the big story and what everybody was waiting on. I told you yesterday during the morning business show, NVIDIA is going to have good numbers. It's just the question is it going to be good enough to impress the market, or is it going to be just as expected? Well, NVIDIA is going to be the first stock that we look at here this morning. It did finish yesterday 1.41% up. And you see here in pre-market, if you're watching us here, if you're able to glance at it, you see the gray there is the pre-market trading. Look at this. Big up when pre-market started and then slowly come down. It's up about 1% right now, NVIDIA is as well. Strong earnings and revenue for their fiscal fourth quarter is what they announced out there. Not a surprise they were going to do that. The question is just are investors going to be happy with the strong performance, right, is the bigger question here. NVIDIA did report adjusted earnings of $1.62 per share. The expectation was only $1.53 per share. So blew that out of the water by the 9 cents as well. The revenue was $68.13 billion. Now that also exceeded the estimated amount of $66.21 billion. So significant growth here by NVIDIA in their reporting, and its core data center business is their strongest point here. So investors are going through those reportings as it happened after the bell yesterday, going through the nitty-gritty side of it, up about 1% here in pre-market trading for NVIDIA. And then there's J.M. Smuckers. You know them, jellies, a lot of other stuff, food company. Yesterday, they finished the day 2.51% down, but pre-market trading this morning up more than 7% here as we go to air here at 7 a.m. Phoenix time. Better than expected fiscal third quarter results. Smuckers earned $2.38 per share, and revenue was $2.34 billion. So their $2.38 per share beat estimates of $2.27 per share out there. Their $2.34 billion in revenue beat the estimated amount of revenue, $2.32 billion. 7% pop here in pre-market trading here for the J.M. Smuckers Company. Now let's do a follow-up look here at Warner Brothers Discovery, because they're in the midst of this buyout situation and selling itself and all of that stuff, right? We know that side of the story. Interesting enough, they didn't address that in their reporting yesterday at all. They didn't even address the Netflix Paramount situation at all. But they were yesterday. They closed down 0.86% as well, and they're basically flat here in pre-market. You see big ups and downs, look like a heart rate monitor, but they're basically flat here in pre-market trading here today after some big swings here early in pre-market trading. But Warner Brothers Discovery did report a 6% decline in quarterly revenue, and that's all because of a slowdown they've done in their TV and film business. The company didn't address, as I said, any of the bidding war that's happening out there, but they have obviously slowed down their TV and film business with what's going on, expenses, etc. And that led to that 6% decline in quarterly revenue. They're basically flat here in pre-market. We'll have to wait and see where we're looking at here. Don't forget, Paramount Skydance here has raised its takeover offer to $31 per share for Warner Brothers Discovery, trying to do that hostile bid takeover here compared to a Netflix in that initial bid out there. So Warner Brothers Discovery having some not as good numbers as you'd expect out there. Later on, when we come back and look at stocks here this morning in our last show of the week, Nutanix, we're going to look at them. They're a cloud software company making a big announcement yesterday. Shake Shack, we're going to get some food here as well today. Shake Shack, we're going to look at a couple of those here around Phoenix, and then Papa John's International. We talk about Domino's and how they've just had good numbers here with what's happening in that food delivery segment. And we'll look at Papa John's today as well coming up here in just a little bit. Markets open at 7:30, of course, as we roll towards that. Now there's some interesting stories here I want to do as parents. Maybe this will calm your nerves here as, look, every kid wants the technology, probably have to fight with them all the time. And there's always those big questions over safety for the kids. Well, Apple did announce a new verification tool that's coming to the United States, overseas as well. We'll talk about both to ensure users. So if you want to basically download an app that's need to be at least 18 years old to download, you're going to have now parental verification, and they'll not allow them to download those apps as well. Apple's trying to comply with laws enacted by a few U.S. states so far. More will be coming, and foreign countries as well. So in the United States, this is being rolled out in Utah and Louisiana right now, because those are two states that have enacted those laws. Trust me, folks, other states are coming with those laws as well. But out overseas, you got Brazil, Australia, and Singapore also having very strict laws as well. They require age restrictions for users of apps rated 18 plus. App developers in these areas, they may now use Apple's updated declaration or declared age range application programming in order to get this in there and verify it 18 plus only. You have to be 18 to download it. It's currently in beta testing. It's going to determine the user's age range in there. Now, how do you determine the age range, right? Is kind of the question that you got. But Apple announced all this earlier this week. In Utah and Louisiana, for instance, app developers can request users' age categories on that Apple API. The tools expand on previous efforts aimed at helping developers meet compliance obligations, specifically for those two states that have laws that have passed. Then in Brazil, Australia, and Singapore internationally, users over there will be blocked from downloading apps rated 18 and up unless they are confirmed to be old enough through, quote, reasonable methods. You're noticing the trend here. They're not saying the verification technique at all from Apple, but it is coming, and folks, make no mistake about it, other states are going to be passing these types of laws as well, coming your way, and so Apple's got to get on board with it. But the thing that interests me about that story is, one, they're making the progress to it, of course. Thousands of lawsuits are out there waiting to be heard, one going on right now, just about the implication of Meta and these Apple and these types of places and kids. So they're all trying to become compliant, kicking and screaming, but little details there as well. And then, on that grain, right, speaking of Meta, Instagram, which is a Meta company, they're going to soon alert parents if their teenage child uses the app to search for content related to suicide or even self-harm. They did announce this as well. It's their latest effort to shore up safety features because of these lawsuits that are happening because of young people saying how they've affected their lives out there. So they said starting next week, Meta did, parents who use Instagram supervision tools will get a message, either via email, text, even WhatsApp is how they can come, as well as through an in app notification. If a teen reportedly searches for certain terms related to self harm or suicide, within a short time span, now they did say the message will inform parents that teens repeatedly search for suicide or self harm content. And then they'll offer resources on how to approach sensitive conversations around mental health. Here's the problem: multiple searches before they notify you. Meta did not specify how many searches will prompt a parental alert. They just noted that, quote, we choose a threshold that requires a few searches within a short period of time while still erring on the side of caution, unquote. I would argue all it takes is one search for somebody to do something, but hey, Meta's got its own rules, right? The new safeguard will initially roll out in the United States, specifically here, United Kingdom, Australia, and Canada is where we'll see that. Then it'll be deployed into other areas and regions later this year. So if you remember back in October, Meta introduced age-based content restrictions that does block users under 18 from seeing search results for certain terms. Things like alcohol or gore, for instance. Those are the examples they used back in October. At that time, in October, Meta did say it already shielded teens from search results related to suicide, self-harm, and eating disorders out there. And Meta did say very few kids use their services to search for these types of things. But they made it sound like they're the greatest people on the planet because they're implementing. They're literally going, look at us, because they're implementing these rules and everything. But very few kids searching. Oh, good for you, man. Way to tap yourself on the back there, I guess. But those are out there for those of you parents that do use those guidelines and stuff with your kids' social media out there. And hey, the next time you make a reservation, can you use a delivery service to do that? The reservation wars are heating up again. And here's the interesting part: they're heating up at a time when there's a shrinking pool of diners out there. We know how this economy is. We talk about it all the time. It is people aren't going out to eat as much, obviously, with what's happening in the world. But if you remember before, we told you about it here at McCollum on Business. Back in June, DoorDash announced a $1.2 billion acquisition of a company called Seven Rooms. That's a reservation platform focused on direct bookings, through a restaurant's own website. Before that, Uber Eats, Booking Holdings, even OpenTable, they announced a partnership to integrate reservations on Uber's app at that time to get dinner reservations. And then back in 2024, American Express, they own Resi. They've always owned Resi as well. But they bought a company called Talk. That's a reservation platform focused on upscale restaurants specifically. They bought them for $400 million. So the reservation war has been going on for about the last 10 years with OpenTable and other people getting into it as well. Then Resi did come into the scene in 2014. They won market share away from OpenTable at that time. And the way it works, basically, I know it's changed a lot, but originally it worked because they charged the restaurants a simply monthly fee, sometimes a percentage, of the bill if somebody does make that, a reservation through their fees. But the point is, these reservation deals have been going on for a long time, and people have been fighting it, right? Open Table's a general, they do a lot of different establishments out there. Resi's is a more of a buzzy partnership with high-profile restaurants. Open Table, though, does right now today significantly dominate that market still now because they're a more general deal. So Resi this summer is going to integrate the 5,000 eateries, bars, and wineries that have listed on Talk onto its own platform. So it's going to bring the total number of venues on Resi to about 25,000. And they're still going to focus on more of the upscale type places as well. But that's still less than half of what Open Table's roughly 60,000 restaurants currently have on the Open Tables network of reservations. Why did I give you that history? Because now DoorDash is getting into the battle here with seven rooms acquisitions. It's fascinating, right? They do it. I've never used these sites. If the website doesn't have it, I don't deal with it, to be honest with you. But it is fascinating how there's apparently and I know New York's a big market for this and things, but apparently it's a big market. The company, of course, DoorDash as a company is used to fighting for market share in the competitive industry. DoorDash was up against Uber Eats, Grubhub for market domination, and trying to figure out who would be the leader in that. That was before the pandemic happened and everything in terms of those online third party food delivery. But as of last year, DoorDash is, and it's not even close, the biggest player in the US market. They have about 67% market share, DoorDash does, over Uber Eats and all the other ones out there. Yeah, that is unbelievable. Uber Eats trails with a 23% market share for them. So now they've dominated that market. They're focusing here on the reservations, and DoorDash is looking to capture the range of dining possibilities. Obviously, they want to do everything for you, whether it be delivery, takeout, or sit down at a table in a restaurant. In the early months of its reservation integration with the company they bought there, the platform was offering users DoorDash Cash to use on future delivery orders if you use the reservations features to kind of test it out for the integration. In select cities, they offered exclusive tables at trendy spots for members of Dash Pass, which is their subscription service. So the integration with seven rooms gives DoorDash and its restaurants access to more data about dry diners, and that's the big thing I take out of this. They just want your information and how you eat and what you do and all that stuff. But next time you need a reservation at a restaurant, don't forget about DoorDash. It is coming fast and furious here as well. And anybody that watches sports these days knows you have to have all these apps to watch them. Basketball, for instance, you got to have Peacock, and football, you got to have Netflix and Yahoo and all these other ones out there. Well, the FCC is seeking officially now public comments on the shift of live programs from broadcast channels to those streaming services. The FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, he announced the request for comment earlier this week. And it's fascinating to see here because the comment period is not going to run until March 27th. I'm sorry, it's going to run through March 27th. And replies to the comments are due April 13th from the FCC. So it kind of gives you the time frame here as well if you want to kind of give your comments on this. Here's what he posted here as well. He said, quote, "For decades, Americans enjoyed turning on their TV and quickly finding the game that they wanted to see. Yet watching your favorite team play isn't as easy these days. Many games are still on broadcast, but an increasing number on a range of different online platforms." He went on to post, "Today, the FCC asked for comment on sports rights and broadcasting. We want to understand the marketplace today, the experience of consumers, and how the changes impact the ability of broadcast TV stations uh, to continue delivering local news, information, and other programming." Fascinating study. I don't know what can come out of it. But last year, the House Judiciary Committee did request briefings from the major leagues, right? NFL, NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball. They want to know whether antitrust exemptions should still be granted for coordinating their broadcast television rights. The Sports Broadcasting Act exemption, that's a law. It was passed back in 1961, folks. It applies only to the broadcast networks and broadcast televisions. Courts have ruled in the past that it does not apply to the other mediums like streaming, right, or cable, satellite. It does not apply to those. The Sports Broadcasting Act does include a rule allowing blackouts of games. It still applies to out-of-market packages sold by the leagues. The NFL ended local TV blackouts, which applied to games within 75 miles of a team's market if they did not sell out the game. It was something like 3 days or something before the kickoff there as well. NFL got rid of that back in 2014. Hockey has that right now. If you're a fan, I believe it's the Colorado Avalanche. You can't watch their games because they're blacked out for you because you're out of their area. Blackouts need to go away 100%, especially if you buy a package. But Yeah, this public notice was sent out earlier this week, as I said, and they said NFL games aired on 10 different services. That's which some people estimating could cost the consumer over $1,500 a year to watch all the games. The NFL aired games last season, if you don't know, on CBS, NBC, ABC, which is also ESPN, also ESPN Plus, Fox, NFL Network, Amazon Prime, Netflix, and YouTube TV. Yeah, good luck finding your game, right? Forbes estimated the cost of watching every NFL game streaming last season. They had a little bit lesser of a cost, but they had $765. Forbes did. The NFL offers most of its games on broadcast television, and they do. If your team is playing on a streamer, they will play it on local cable or local channel for you as well, so you're not cut out. But if your team's not the local team, you have to buy the streamer, right? But all four of the major North American professional sports league have deals with streaming platforms. The NBA is in its first season of that 11-year deal. Their games on Monday nights are on Peacock. Amazon Prime has games during the year as well. Those are the Thursday and Friday games when they happen there. If you don't know, Major League Baseball has agreed to a 3-year deals with Netflix and Peacock that begin this season. They had Apple TV previously, Major League Baseball did. And now Major League Baseball got this thing where they're going to Major League Baseball is producing a lot of games for their teams as those regional networks are shutting down. You have to buy the package for that as well if you want to watch your team. The NHL is in its fifth season of its 7-year rights deal, where the ESPN Plus and Hulu is where those games are played. So comment is requested here by the FCC. And if you don't like it, get out there, and even if you do like it, get out there and get your voice heard. Go to the FCC website, and you'll see it posted on there as well. And I think it's all bad. You're not going to grow your sports league. You're going to get an initial blip of growing it, but you're also going to not get as many newer viewers if it's not easy to get out there. But what do I know? They're signing billion-dollar deals, and I'm sitting here on a Thursday talking to you. When we come back here at McCollum on Business, we keep the show rolling as well. Some local stories. You need more protein in your life? I got that story coming up for you. I got a new option for you coming your way in terms of protein. We'll look at the market again here with the Market Watch as the markets are set to open here at 7:30 here at Phoenix time. Come on back, folks. It's McCollum on Business, Thursday edition. We're back here, McCollum on Business, Thursday edition. Don't forget, we've announced it all week. We are going to be off tomorrow here. All of our programming will be off here tomorrow at Robat TV. We're simply moving studios. We're getting out of here. Our lease was up. We're trying to find a new place to go that'll work for us as we are growing out there. Thanks to you guys. So we will be off tomorrow. The main event here at McCollum on Business off tomorrow, but you can catch us on demand. We will be back on Monday. That's why we're taking tomorrow off, is to make sure we get everything moved out into the new place, set up as well. and we keep moving forward here as well. So we'll be back here on Monday. This show will be at 11 o'clock on Monday. Make sure that all the bugs are worked out over the weekend and going into a Monday morning as well. So come and join us, of course, and enjoy your weekend out there. As soon as we're done here, we get this show up on demand, both on the Robat TV as well as YouTube page as well. Then we move into the main event. It's Thursday, which means Dale Hillestray's 17-year NFL veteran comes in. He takes off here and goes and does another hit at another station. And then Uncle Lou comes in here as well. We'll talk UFC, of course, college baseball. The NHL is back underway officially after their Olympic break. Coming up today at 9 o'clock there is when Lou comes in. We, of course, get that live 8 to 10 a.m. That goes up on demand. Robat TV, the YouTube page as well. Free podcast systems, which is the same as the follow us on X as well, at TME Sports Show is where you can find that out there. Then, of course, you've got the pit stop, the look ahead show to the COTA Circuit of the Americas race. Going to be posted today as well, probably around 1 or 2 o'clock today. Looking ahead to this weekend's racing action. Tune into the pit stop as well. Whether it be at the pit stop talk is where you can follow us on X on that, of course. The pit stop, if you search the pit stop with Steven, it comes right up for you on your favorite podcast system. Or just go to our production YouTube page as well. It's there for you. It'll be there this afternoon. The look ahead show for the pit stop. Of course, we're 1 week away from NASCAR and IndyCar coming here to Phoenix next weekend as well. And IndyCar gets under the way this weekend in St. Petersburg. We'll talk about that today as well with the Truck Series, both racing there in St. Petersburg, Florida. So the pit stop coming up later on. And then, of course, tomorrow we may be off, but the Real Matrix is ready to go for you. 10 a.m. here at Robat TV. The Real Matrix new episode will be posted. And then at noon, the podcast, just search The Real Matrix on your favorite podcast system, or on Rumble is where you can find the online version of The Real Matrix there for you as well. Find it, search for it, The Real Matrix, Angry Patriot pops right up for you. Noon for Rumble, and of course, the podcast systems for you out there. Folks, it is a busy Thursday around here, and looking forward to getting this done, getting this settled and everything, but we still got some local stories to talk about, so let's get back into that Market Watch. So the market's getting ready to open. We're 2 minutes away from opening here on the market. Like I told you earlier, everything was pretty much little changed. Well, the Dow Jones is opening up a wider stance here in their futures. It's gone up to 218 points up right now for its futures. Here this morning, the S&P 500 still battling back and forth here. Right now, it is still negative, 12 points down for the S&P 500 futures. NASDAQ, though, is negative right now, about 10 points negative for the NASDAQ futures, which is interesting with NVIDIA reporting and Salesforce and stuff like that reporting for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. We'll have to see how those go as the markets do open today. The Russell 2K is up 10 points here in their futures as well. Bitcoin has gone from negative to positive today, and it's moved into that 68,000 level, 68,127 as of right now. Stocks we're paying attention to. Let's go look at some cloud software companies before I make you hungry here this morning. Nutanix is the stock that we're going to look at first here. Yeah, pre-market, they're up over 19% as we went to air today as well. It's pretty simple why. Nutanix and AMD announced a multi-year partnership to jointly develop an artificial intelligence infrastructure platform. They said the key words. One, partnership with AMD, artificial intelligence infrastructure platform. Stocks up pre-market 19% here as well. So as part of this agreement that we know of, AMD is going to make strategic investments of $150 million in Nutanix common stock as well. Then Nutanix did, separately, they did report fiscal second quarter results that did beat every expectation out there, both top and bottom lines as well. So lots of positive here with Nutanix. That's why they're up to 19% here in pre-market trading. And then there's Shake Shack. I know there's a couple of them here around town. I know there's one out there at the Williams Field Mall out there. Out where I am, I drive by it all the time. Well, they're up today as well here in pre-market. 6% up in pre-market as well. And you can see they closed 3.07% up yesterday when the market closed out there. Now, they reported their fourth quarter results. Shake Shack reported an adjusted earnings of 37 cents per share. That beat estimates by about a penny there, 1 cent as well. Revenue came in at $400.5 million. Interesting enough, blew away the estimate there. 400.5 million is what they came in at revenue. The expectation was only 367.2 million dollars. So Shake Shack blowing away their revenue number. They're up big here in pre-market, about 6% right now. And then let's go Papa John's International. We've talked about Domino's here a lot. Domino's in this space has been very successful here through this economic conditions and things to that effect. Their competitors like Pizza Hut and Papa John's, not so much. Papa John's was down 2.06% yesterday, down 5% here in pre-market trading right now. Yeah, their fourth quarter revenue is a disappointment out there to the investors. Papa John's posted revenue of 498, $0.2 million. Well, the estimate was $517.3 million. 19 million dollar miss here by Papa John's on their revenue side. Yeah, that's why they're down here in pre-market about 5% as well for a Papa John's. And it just amazes me how Pizza Hut, Papa John's continue to kind of miss numbers and disappoint. And Domino's is like, hey, we got this. What's the difference, right? Hey, let's get into some local stories here. And then I'll tell you, if you need more protein in your life, we all should have some protein. I got a new flavor for you coming up, or a new way to get some there. So stay tuned with us here coming up. Couple stories coming your way, and then if you're a Dr. Pepper fan, maybe a new option for you there as well. But first, yesterday, Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays announced one of her largest landlord, or one of the largest landlords in the state. Well, that lawsuit she has against them is officially being settled as well. This all runs around a rental price fixing that is alleged here as well. So this is against Weeder Property Management. They're involved in this suit, and they are going to be required to pay nearly $1 million to a rental nonprofit, and then they will reimburse up to 2 months' rent for some of their tenants out there. The lawsuit is part of that big effort, and she's gone after other big rental companies as well, apartment complexes. For instance, excuse me, I got the hiccups. Mays is trying to reframe the current state of Arizona's housing market and stop the exploitation of renters and renters' rates out there. Mays has said she plans to change the market into one where landlords are fighting for their renters' business, not coordinating with each other to extract as much money as possible from their renters. Mays alluded to plans of targeting at least 7 more landlord companies and RealPage. We've talked about RealPage before. They've been the epicenter of these types of lawsuits. They're a property management software company that kind of works with the companies to say, hey, your guys over here is charging this. You should charge this also. RealPage has been slammed a lot lately with antitrust lawsuits in the last year for that rental price algorithm. Some big apartment complex management companies have been caught up in that as well. The algorithm provides landlords nationwide with daily pricing suggestions for their available apartments. Opponents of that system, they argue its access to confidential data encourage landlords to price their apartments at the highest possible rates. Yeah, so you find out the apartment complex across the street from you is charging $100, $200 more than you. Well, you're just going to raise your rates up. That's the information RealPage gives these guys out there. So Wiedner Property Management is going to be forced to cut its ties with RealPage for at least 5 years. And this is part of the settlement, folks. Mays did warn that if coordination between the two companies does continue, she will not hesitate to sue again about this out there. So that is one thing. I mean, look, it's her job to sue people that she dooms stuff wrong, but she hasn't seen a lawsuit she doesn't like out there. And this one, though, I think is a good one. Rental rates have gone up in huge amounts, partially because they had to, because of expenses, etc. But it's also been falsified up as people got greedy and just charge people more rent, which has hurt this economy out there in terms of livability and things to that effect. So interesting thing there. She continues to fight those battles out there. And There's a new report out there from the Solar Energy Industries Association. Them and Benchmark Mineral Intelligence got together, and this report shows that the United States added the most amount of new battery energy storage capability in 2025. So this is where like the solar panels collect the energy and just puts it into battery storage for use at a later time. That's what we're going to talk about here. Arizona, by the way, came in as the third largest market for battery storage now, officially third biggest. California and Texas are the only two states ahead of Arizona. The United States added about 5 gigawatt hours of battery storage last year. That's enough to power almost 2 million homes for a whole year. Arizona's capacity did jump by about 129% last year. It's about 19 gigawatt hours total. I mean, they're building huge battery storage places out by me right now, but we also have a lot of data storages out where we are and continuing to build out there. The report found that utilities showed the bulk of the growth, but those gains were also seen in the residential sector as well. So if you have solar panels or anything, you're getting battery packs as well to save that energy up and kind of get off the grid as long as possible out there. So what this survey noted was as EV incentives ended last year, big companies, Ford, LG, for instance, they shifted some of their factories from electric vehicles and EV stuff. They've shifted those factories to build batteries instead, and it's kind of leading to the growth of this battery. But Arizona, third biggest battery storage here in the United States. I get some heavyweights, right? California and Texas as what we are behind there. And you wake up this morning, do you go to the gym this morning? Did you say, do you go, I need to get some protein later on? I need to get some chicken, maybe some red meat in me, right? Well, when you want some protein, it's get a protein shake and you mix it up and you drink it. Well, now sometimes you might just have to turn to Doritos. Yes, folks, the new Doritos protein snacks are coming into stores here in just another month. Coming up in March. It's going to have two flavors as well: nacho cheese and sweet and tangy barbecue. Well, 1 ounce serving of Doritos protein has 10 grams of protein. So you obviously want to compare that to the traditional nacho cheese Doritos. Yeah, they have 2 grams of protein per serving from that side. So 10 grams, one thing of protein, compared to the whole serving size only has 2 grams of protein. Doritos protein chips use milk protein, which is in the protein source is where it comes from. And they're made without artificial colors or flavors, so none of those dyes in them. So the comparison of Doritos protein chips with traditional nacho cheese Doritos, well, it's going to have similar calorie and fat levels between them. The proteins will have less sodium and obviously more protein in these new chips. But calories and fat levels about the same out there. Doritos protein nacho cheese chips may be made differently, but if you compare them to the traditional nacho cheese Doritos protein, according to Doritos, looks, tastes, and crunches like the Dorito nacho cheese fans know and love. You believe that? There's got to be a difference, right? Yeah. So they say from the shape to the texture to that bold, cheesy flavor, the experience is unmistakably Doritos. Doritos proteins. Throw the protein shake aside this morning and grab yourself a bag of Doritos protein. One of those two flavors. Oh, you got to wait till March, but it's coming your way out there. And I am a huge Dr. Pepper fan. The best thing ever invented out there is Dr. Pepper, in my opinion. And sometimes they mix them. There's been Dr. Pepper Peeps, which were disappointing. I've had Dr. Pepper flavored a lot of stuff out there. Dr. Pepper flavored Frosties. And they always don't taste like Dr. Pepper. They're a little bit off out there. So, folks, since it's breakfast time and you're grilling up your eggs and your sausage and your bacon this morning, or you're ordering it there at one of the breakfast places, well, pretty soon at your house you can get Dr. Pepper flavored sausages. Yes, folks, they are on their way as well. Jacksonville, which is America's favorite sausage, that's their catchphrase there, and Keurig Dr. Pepper, they're linking up. See what I did there? for the launch of the Fizzy Glizzy, is what they're calling it. Here's what they say. Is it a culinary innovation or a sign of the apocalypse? Yeah. The debate is already underway, but one thing is certain. People are talking, and America's ready to take a bite. Comes from a statement that Jacksonville put out there. I don't know how to feel about this, so I'm like getting flustered right now. According to Jacksonville, the sausage was inspired by Keurig Dr. Pepper's original 23 flavor blend of their soda. Jacksonville collaborated closely with Dr. Pepper to translate the soda's one of a kind flavor into their time honored sausages there. It's an idea inspired by the brand's longstanding role as a go to ingredient for flavoring and marinating meats. And that is true. My point is we can all have Dr. Pepper sausages by just marinating in Dr. Pepper, like God intended. That's probably why it's not going to taste the same, but they claim it does. Jacksonville's Dr. Pepper inspired sausage is going to hit the shelves and retailers nationwide starting Sunday, March 1st. This Sunday, folks. Also, some 7-Elevens on the rollers. We'll have them there as well. So pay attention to that if you like that as well. It's going to be available in fully cooked or uncooked varieties. Jacksonville's Dr. Pepper inspired sausages, they enhance the richness of Jacksonville's signature sausage, delivering a nuanced, sweet and salty, or swalty finish. All from the statement from Johnsonville there. According to Johnsonville, the release of the Dr. Pepper inspired sausage, well, it builds on the momentum of their brand's Keep It Juicy platform that was launched back in 2024. They want to champion togetherness, and that falls into that brand as well there, folks. So if you're getting your breakfast ready this morning, if you're on your way to work listening to us, there you go. Coming your way shortly here. Dr. Pepper sausages. You get those, let me know how they are. I'm not a big sausage guy, but if they taste like Dr. Pepper, I might be. Hey, folks, appreciate you joining us here for this Thursday edition of McCollum on Business. Don't forget, the main event's coming up here, 8 to 10, Pit Stop. Look Ahead show will be out later today, about 2 o'clock as well. Look for that here as well. We're off tomorrow. Everybody have a great weekend. We'll see you back on Monday here as well. Everybody have a great weekend. We'll see you then. Talk to you soon, everybody. Have a good day.